This week, Ben Affleck pulled a Rain Man and was caught counting cards.
Adam Levine goes blonde, proving even the hottest guys can look like douchebags.
The new trailer for Gotham elicits boners across the nation.
And a new Bible is found, which reveals that he's just some Jesus that you used to know.
We will talk about none of this on episode 2 of Unholy Matrimony.
This is our second episode. We might peak.
I think we peaked with episode 1, honestly.
I know.
All right, so I was perusing the internets and came across this little gem. I did not know that May is actually National Masturbation Month. Did you know that?
Not before you told me, no.
Oh, see? How about that? So I'm guessing that, you know, all May you should spend each and every day trying to bust as many nuts as you possibly can. That's the only thing I can possibly figure that this month would be dedicated to.
I mean, it's required at this point, right? It's a holiday.
It is.
Or a month.
Yeah, there's Black History Month. There's Masturbation Month. It's the same thing. It's like they're equal.
Right, exactly.
We just lost the entire black listenership. Oh.
Jeremy just compared masturbating to black people.
But being that it is National Masturbation Month, we figured we would use this opportunity to debut our first segment, actually, on this show. It's going to be called Secret Origins, and it's going to be where we take little trivia that you might not know about us as individuals, be it, you know, just random things, be it super embarrassing things that was actually how we're going to start off with this very first edition. So yeah, National Masturbation Month means we have to talk about the first time that we ever masturbated. And I'm going to go first, I guess, being that it was my idea, and I'm pretty sure that the wife would not want to go first on this one.
You're guessing right.
Yes. All right, so let me set the scene for you. I believe I was 13 years old. If I wasn't 13, I was the very tail end of 12. It would actually be the summer of 12. Me and my friends, we used to stay in, we would set up a tent in the backyard, and we'd, spend a night sleepover kind of things. But then I'd end up leaving that tent up pretty much all summer long. And I would just kind of relocate my bedroom to the backyard. I'd even run extension cords out my window. So I'd have a TV out there, I'd have a VCR. I mean, I was set.
Pimp.
Yeah, camping, this was not. This was just straight up fucking pimp palace for a 12-year-old. So since I had a TV and a VCR out there, one of my friends, he thought it would be a great idea to, bring by a porno tape of some random porn that I never even knew what the title was, because it was actually a dubbed tape that somebody had, copied, and they didn't label it or anything. It was just a blank tape. And
all the best pornos are blank tapes.
Yeah. Well, so that day we put it in, and we probably watched maybe 5 minutes of it. And honestly, it was awkward sitting next to, a friend of mine watching porn. So I was like, this is stupid. And we turned it off, went about our day. So I believe it was the following day, I was just hanging out by myself in the tent. I had, I was bored, had the VCR. I think I was watching, actually, Ace Ventura: Pet Detective on a VHS. And then I looked over and I noticed that porno tape was still sitting there. And, fucking light bulb moment right here. I decided that I was going to, pop it in, give it another try, this time alone, so that, that awkward factor would be gone. So I'm watching it, and I probably watched it for a good half hour before I decided that, maybe, this is the day. Maybe the time is now for me to finally go on an exploration into the wonderful world of boners. And, oh, that sounded very gay.
Yes. Do not cut that out.
All right, we're gonna leave that in. All right, so I decided that I was going to, see what this masturbation thing was all about. But not only that, the Valentine's Day before that, as a gag gift, my stepdad had he knocked on my bedroom door, and when I answered it, he tossed a box of condoms at me, and his words were, "Wrap it, or I'll cut it off." And that was the only sex talk that was ever given to me in my life. So I had this box, huge, it's a pretty big size box, like a variety pack of condoms. And I mean, throughout the months after that, I would, make balloons out of them, or do what boys do. And so, like, I remembered that I had these condoms in my room, and I'd never put one on before. And so I was like, let's fucking, kill two birds with one stone here. Let's put on a condom for the first time before I masturbate. No cleanup. I thought it was smart. So in the house, grabbed one of those fuckers, brought it back outside, put it on, and it fit. I was very happy about that. That was a very proud moment in my day. So put it on, push play on the tape, and proceeded to probably have the shortest masturbation time in my entire life. It was probably literally over within, I'd say, 45 seconds, maybe.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I was really confused because I didn't know what an orgasm felt like. And so, I think that I had I kind of slowed down or something like that when, the feeling was starting there to, come. So, it kind of, killed part of the sensation. But I filled up the reservoir tip on the condom, so I knew that I did something right. So now the dilemma came, what am I going to do with this filled condom? And so I decided that I was going to walk it from the backyard of my house, around through the side gate, out to the street, and I dropped it down the storm drain right there on the main street, a condom full of my very first jism.
Oh.
So that was my story. And if my mother's listening, I want to say that I owe you at least 7 or 8 cases of lotion at this point, because that shit just did not stop. It escalated. It got freaky. It got weird after that.
I wonder if she was ever just like, where the fuck does my lotion keep going?
Oh, I think she knew. She knew.
She knew.
She knew.
She had to.
Had to have. But yeah, so that was my story. What about you? What's your story of the first time that you ever went to Diddletown?
Well.
Oh wait, hold on. Just give me a second right here. Okay, I'm just gonna lower these lights real quick. Hold on a second. we got to set the mood for this shit. All right, so lights are lowered. So now, Bethany, what was your story?
Mine was...
Wait, hold on. We're not ready yet. Hold on. Let me cue this up real quick. Oh yeah. Lots of low. We got the Pono music going. Alright, now, indulge the world. Take us into the secret origins of your vagina.
It was awkward. It was, I know that's not sexy, but it was a process. I was 11, and I realized, I don't even honestly recall how I came to the realization, but I realized that pressure on my vagina felt really good. And so I would push on it and grind my hips. I would just, push on what I later learned was I was pushing on my clit, but and then I just basically ground against my fingers. I didn't ever complete, I never finished, my cheeks are bright red right now.
You are so red.
I didn't ever complete though until It was months of me just doing that. And then it was like one day my finger happened upon my clit, and I was like, oh, that's so much better than, just a block of pressure. I was like, this is interesting. What's this thing? And it was really just like playing with it. And like you said, I come pretty quick anyway. That's
a true story.
But it was very fast. It was pretty much over right then, and I didn't know what was happening. I thought I was going to pee my bed, and I was, kind of freaked out. It was because, and the reason I remember the day that it actually finished so well is because I had just gotten home from the hospital after having my tonsils removed. And so it was like, I was miserable, and I was laying in bed, and my throat hurt, and I was sad, and I was like, this will make me feel better, and it did.
So you masturbated the day that you had your tonsils removed?
I did.
So you came and also made yourself eventually better to deep-throating dick later on in life?
All in the same day. Yes. That's when I truly became a woman.
So we had to take a break for a few minutes so Bethany could cool down. She's no longer red as a tomato. She's still fanning herself a little bit, but the embarrassment's starting to wear off until, all of you get to listen to this, and then it's gonna come back tenfold. But keeping on the theme of Masturbation Month, we got our very first listener email just today, actually, right before we started recording, and it ties in strangely to this whole concept of masturbation and first times and all that. And so would you care to read that to our listeners?
Sure, yeah. Just a little, background. A few of our friends, we asked, hey, so what was your first time masturbating? We just kind of wanted to get other people's, stories, see if they were going to be brave and tell us, and we actually got somebody. So I'm just going to read this straight as it was sent to us. Okay, so my first time beating off was when I was 17. I had just been shot down by another girl at school, and I was really frustrated. I decided to go smoke a bowl to help me forget about my day. As I smoked, I settled on watching an Olivia Newton-John special on VH1 Classic. As I was watching, a funny feeling came over me, a feeling that had nothing to do with the cannabis. It was a funny in-my-pants feeling. I thought something was wrong with me, so I took out my wiener to inspect it. Everything appeared normal, but I was still worried. Suddenly, I remembered something teacher taught me in 5th grade. She said that I was a growing boy whose body was changing, and that I'd get certain urges to go along with those changes. This, I thought, must be one of those urges. I still wasn't sure what to do, so I began to pet my precious wee-wee. After about a minute, I got an even stranger feeling. It was like I was going to explode. I got really scared and decided to take a closer look. I got as close as I could, but still didn't see anything wrong. All of a sudden, some white stuff came out and got all up in my eyes. I thought I was blind at first, but I was able to wipe the sticky stuff out of my eyes. After I got all cleaned up, I got on our family PC with NetZero and looked up what happened. It turned out that I had done something called masturbation. I thought it was icky, and I never did it again. Now, this is coming from sincerely Chris Berg, a.k.a. Bustin' Nuts in Bremerton. So thank you, Chris Berg, for that enlightening story there about your first time, and apparently last time.
Yeah, that was very brave of you to share with us. It's nice that we have listeners who are able to open up in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I dug it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chris.
You're the best.
Okay, so really quick, I feel a little bit guilty. One of my besties, Ash, only just learned a few days ago that we even have a podcast. Now, granted, it's still very new, but she works a lot. I work a lot, and I kind of dropped the ball and didn't tell her right away and didn't link her the episode or anything. So she decided to call me out on it today over Facebook and asked me why I didn't tell her sooner. So I wanted to apologize publicly, Ash, for not letting you in on this adventure. And I just wanted to do a quick shout out and say hey, and I hope you're enjoying those goodies we left you in January, and I hope you still enjoy writing your special stories.
You're going to leave it as ambiguous as that? Really?
Oh, I'll go right out and say she's writing gay fan fiction. Because it's hot.
I'd read it.
I would too. I'd fap to it. And I can fap to it because it's masturbation month. Really rude to kill somebody when they have an erection. Okay, so speaking of masturbation or just all things genitalia, you told me a story that I would like for you to share with all of our listeners because it's a story I can't get out of my head and it was hilarious. It involves 7-Eleven. Do you remember?
Actually, yes, I do. It was probably about 4 or 5 months ago, maybe more. I don't know. So I pulled up at 7-Eleven. I don't know where, I was on my way to some place. I don't know where.
To be fair, we live like 2 minutes away from 7-Eleven, so he is in that vicinity a lot. So
yes,
he may not know where he was going.
Yes, so that's the primary place where I fuel my motor vehicle. And so I pulled up to the gas pumps, and when I was about ready to get out of my car, I noticed that there was this guy, and he was laying on the sidewalk in front of the store, and he appeared to be very drunk, and he was kind of like laying there, like flailing his arms, and then like like a customer who was about ready to walk into the store, like took a detour and decided to go and see if he was okay, and he kind of waved the person off, and said person went inside the store, thinking nothing else of it because obviously he's okay, so waved him off. And
now, was he sitting or laying?
He was laying. He was laying on the
down.
side. Yes, he was wearing blue jeans and a gray sweatshirt. I remember that very well. And just laying on the sidewalk, kind of like waving his arms and like almost like attempting to do a sit up and failing is what I would like to feel for a visual for what it looked like. And so like I didn't think anything of it. It's like, okay, so it's another drunk guy in Auburn.
Right.
Right. So I went to the store and I paid for my gas, and I exited the store. I didn't notice him when I exited. I didn't see him sitting there anymore. So, I continued over to the gas pumps. Started filling my car, and I kind of like looked over and noticed that, okay, so yes, he was no longer laying in front of the store. He was now sitting in the corner of the parking lot with his jeans around his ankles, fully exposed.
And I can only wonder, do you think one of the 7-Eleven clerks was just like, hey, you gotta get out of here. You gotta...
Well, no, because they never came out.
No.
They did not know this. Only the customers that were swarming into the store at the time knew what was going on right now. And so I'm fueling up the car. I look over. I see him with his pants around his ankles. No underwear at all. And he's just kind of like laying there, like kind of flopping his arms. And then he does this little like... He kind of like tries to half sit up and he fails. And then he sits up again and he gets up, and then all of this was to take off his shoes so they could continue peeling the jeans off from around his ankles. He did not want to be encumbered on this day. That's what I'm telling you. So he gets his shoes off, but before he could finish peeling the jeans off from around his ankles, he falls back down flat. And he lays there for a second, and then he kind of like sits half back up and he falls down. And instead of trying to step again, he reaches over and starts pulling on his dick like a toddler. Like a toddler discovering that he has an appendage for the first time. Like, look at this. Whee!
Which Can I say, as a parent, that is one of the most horrifying things you can see. If any of our listeners have young boys, you know what we're talking about, where they're at that age, about 6 to 9 months old or whatever. You're changing their diaper and they discover that they have a wiener, and they just take it and they fucking wank on it, and they will stretch that thing like
Stretch
you won't
cock
believe
strong.
it. Yes, stretch cock strong. You wouldn't believe it. It's disgusting and horrifying at the same time. It makes guys faint.
Well, I didn't faint on it this day.
You-
I was actually like, I couldn't turn away. Like, I was like, what's this fucking guy gonna do next? And he pulls on it. He pulls on it. Fucking like, to the point where I'm like, dude,
Stop.
just stop. Like, you're not milking it. That's not what you want to do.
You're hurting it. Stop.
Yeah, just stop. And so I finish up filling the gas tank, hang up the nozzle, and turn back around, and he's stood up.
Oh, what?
He's on his feet. He's finally got that one half pant leg. He has one pant leg off. He's dragging the other one, and he kind of like stumbles towards like some bushes that are on the perimeter of the gas station parking lot, and he like sits on the curb naked with his head in his hands, like he might have just figured out what he has done.
So ashamed.
So ashamed. But no, he kind of just like falls over and then rolls over again, and he's back on his back on the parking lot, pretty much where he started. Like, it's like, no, fuck it, this is where I should be. And and so I decided, like, okay, I can't sit here and watch this anymore, so I continued on my merry way.
You didn't check on him? You didn't ask if he needed
Fuck
anything?
no.
Like
I am
an
not.
extra hand or...
Fuck you.
You never know.
No, so I continued on my merry way. So now, fast forward about 3 weeks to a month later, and I pull up to the gas station, same one, again. This time I was not getting gas. I pulled up to the front of the store. I had to run in and grab a whatnot.
Probably beer.
Probably beer or a Red Bull or something. And I see what I'm pretty sure was the same guy, like leaning up against the phone booths, because there's actually payphones. Like, what? This place has payphones. Like, I don't remember the last time I saw a payphone.
That's how ghetto we are, is we still have payphones in our
Yes,
neighborhood.
yes. So he's leaning up against his payphone, and he and this is where I finally deduced that he was not drunk that day. He was actually probably on like heroin or some other kind of opiate, because he was doing that the heroin dip, where they kind of like, they're standing there and they kind of fall, they kind of fall, they kind of fall, and then the last moment before they're about ready to hit the ground, they pop back up. they pop up, and then they kind of like, they creep back down. They're gonna fall, they're gonna fall, and they pop back up.
Do you call it the heroin dip?
Yeah, it's the heroin
That's
dip.
like a new dance craze. I'm calling it 2015.
Basically, they look like the slowest, wacky waving arm inflatable tube men you've ever seen. It's like one in slow motion, and then it comes back up, and it falls, and it comes back up, and that's
Those
basically
things creep me out.
that's basically what this guy did for like. I watched him for about a minute, and this is what he did, and
Within a minute, so you said you watch him for a minute. How many times did he creep back down and come back up?
about 4 times, because it's
In a minute?
yeah, because it's like his slow fall, and he pops up as fast as he can, and it's a slow fall, and he pops back up.
God, that's the greatest.
Yeah,
I don't get to see shit like that.
yeah, because you work at home.
Shut your mouth. I wish that there were pictures or something.
Oh, there's mental pictures. I can draw you a sketch.
Jeremy's sketches are the best, by the way.
Yeah, they're fucking stick figures with like middle fingers flipping you off and shit.
If there's not a middle finger in the sketch, it's not Jeremy's.
That's really hot.
All right, that's going to do it for this week's episode of Unholy Matrimony. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at WeThePotato, and you can catch this episode and any episode from any show from the Couch Potato Nation podcast network exclusively at couchpotatonation.com.
And I'll be on another Dark Main Event episode, and it's going to be airing this Wednesday at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern at Blog Talk Radio. So go ahead and check that out.
So this is Jeremy for my co-host in life, Bethany, saying, later, fuckers.